David Booth, a founder of Dimensional Fund Advisors in 1981, is the firm's executive chairman. He has served on the Investment Company Institute's Board of Governors and the ICI's Executive Committee. The University of Chicago Booth School of Business was named in his honor, and David also serves as a lifetime member of the school's advisory council. David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium at the University of Kansas was also named in his honor. David funded the Booth Family Hall of Athletics in Allen Fieldhouse at Kansas University and donated James Naismith's original 13 Rules of Basketball. David received his MBA from the University of Chicago in 1971. He also holds an MS and a BA from the University of Kansas.
All right, so you've had wonderful success. All these things kind of fell in place for you. And now there's been some nice opportunities for you to kind of give back a little bit. And I'd like to talk about a couple of those in particular, but I think first and foremost is the Chicago Booth School.
Yeah.
And I want you to maybe just to discuss your initial thinking when this idea was kind of planted that you would make what ended up being the largest donation to a business school that's ever been done, and congratulations on that. That's an amazing thing that you've done. I know Chicago was good to you, and I think that probably was part of your thinking, but let's talk about the Chicago Booth School.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've dropped a lot of names today of people that I've been associated with from professors at Chicago.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a little story. I mentioned when we started the firm, the first phone call was to Gene Fama.
Yeah.
And
your first academic connection, by the
first
way. I was
academic
thinking
connection,
that when you said that. Uh-huh.
So that's the advisor. Then when we created a mutual fund, we found that a mutual fund has to have its own independent board of directors.
Okay.
Now, by this time, we have this great academic research, and we knew we wanted to continue. So who better to monitor what we're doing than other leading academics?
Right.
Now, so I went in, Rex and Singfield and I went in and talked to Merton Miller. You know, I said, Merton, would you be an independent director? He said, sure. Then we, down the hall was Myron Scholes. So I said, Myron, would you be a director? He says, well, how much am I going to get paid? and I said, well, you know, that's the funny thing about it, Myron. It turns out we don't actually have any money. But if the fund gets off the ground, eventually it'll be able to pay directors' fees if it's successful.
Sure.
So he said, glad to help.
Yeah.
And it went on and on with all these academics.
So you just went down the hallway, huh?
Just went down the hallway, pretty
knocking
much.
on doors. Yeah.
Yeah. And now, as Merton Miller points out, we did all this before any of them had gotten a Nobel Prize.
Right.
You know, that's not so. Yeah, I mean, he was proud of that we did this based on what we thought was their reputation. Well, on the quality of their work.
Yeah.
Okay, but
I was just thinking of this earlier. Sorry, remember your thought a second. You kind of identified the Nobel laureates before the committee did.
yeah, right.
You were working with all these guys before they got their Nobel Prize.
I'd like to think
That's
I was.
amazing.
I think I would like to think I was clever. I really wasn't. It was so obvious.
Right.
You know, these are the giants.
No.
And
that is quite amazing that you had these relations. You were actually there when each one of them received their Nobel Prize.
yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
In fact,
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
But it's all tied to this because so many Nobel laureates came from the University of Chicago.
Yeah, right.
I think we counted one time it was like 48% of the Nobel laureates in economics came from the University of Chicago, either attended or taught.
Yeah, right. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were there when I was in school. I mean, I was there from '69 to '71. That was kind of
The heyday of those.
Well, that's when these guys were younger and establishing their reputations and did the
Right.
work for which they later got their Nobel Prizes.
Right. So all these professors really contributed to DFA early on.
They contributed early on, jumped in immediately,
And still there.
didn't think they would get paid, and you know, because as you know, getting a business started is difficult, and sometimes people say, "How'd you get the first clients?" And I don't know how we got the first clients actually, but but I know it had to be helpful to have, when we said, here are the people that are associated with us,
Right.
these names had to have been incredibly important. And
Yeah.
so what happened was then, I got to the point where, I was financially secure. My kids, like a lot of people, give them what I'd planned on giving them.
Right. They went to college.
They went to college,
Yeah.
and they have set them up with a little bit of extra, but
Right.
not, hopefully not too much. And
That's a whole nother subject.
that's another subject.
And
So it was time. Look, so what's fair? If you'd known in advance that this is the way life would turn out if you went to Chicago, but you tried to cut a deal. Suppose everybody knew there's no
Right.
uncertainty, that the school, the professors, me, we all knew what was going to happen to me if I went there.
Yeah.
They would have negotiated. Say, look, what's a fair deal?
right.
Here's what we expect from you. So I figured, what's the number? So it had to be a big number, big part of what I have.
Yeah.
It was the biggest gift of business school, but as a proportion of what the donor's wealth, it has to be even more unusual, because it was a big part of. It wasn't just contributing to the capital campaign.
Right.
This was a kind of a partnership distribution.
Sure.
And so I approached the dean. It wasn't like he said, here's what I want to do. He goes, golly, we've been thinking about naming the school.
So that was just
we wanted even
coincidental,
less
huh?
than, we were asking for less than that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we'll
the
name
school had never
after
been
you.
named for how many years? There was
Yeah,
no
right.
name on that school. Yeah.
So it was, and it was just a tremendous thrill for me, because I owed him so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was glad to be able to say thank you.
Sure. Well, it must feel amazing. I see professors come on, the TV once in a while, and there's the Chicago booth in the background, and sometimes they just call it booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
and the kids there now, the students there frequently refer to themselves as boothies.
Oh, is that right? I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah. But you go.
That's so
The
amazing.
name school. I mean, it's gotten to be the fashion now.
Sure.
You say Tuck, not Dartmouth. You say Darden, not Virginia.
Right.
In Booth.
Right. And so where do you see the Booth School going? It typically ranks among the top, if not the top,
Yeah.
among business schools, right? And what's, maybe just talk a minute about what's coming up at the Booth School.
Well, it's
Because you're on their board forever, right?
Yeah. No, it's an amazing institute, and it continues on. It's just decade after decade. It's hard to describe. I mean, you're spent a lot of time, and you and your stepson on
Right.
looking at Chicago. I mean, people that get it. And there's no place like Chicago.
Yeah.
And
Just so
hopefully
unique.
my gift will enable them to keep that same attitude going. It's an amazing place where the research is intense.
Yep.
At the same time, nobody attacks people personally.
Right.
It's about the ideas, and to have intense debate over ideas, but not to have it personal. It's just the opposite of politics these days, where everything's personal and there are no ideas.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, the
hopefully that's
history of economists, Milton Friedman and Hayek and all of these people that have been there is just amazing. I know there's a hall that has these portraits of all these Nobel laureates. What do they call it? The Hall of Nobel Laureates?
Yeah, or something, yeah.
It's just incredible to watch.
It's incredible.
And see this, the whole thing grow. And congratulations on your now permanent involvement in that incredible institution.